What's groovin', everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Maths. The last couple episodes were dedicated to shifting the number line, specifically by adding to the number line. And this came from us looking at different perspectives on what addition is. Now we're going to slide on over to discuss perspectives on subtraction. So just like we did with addition, I'm going to ask you, what is subtraction? Go ahead, pause the video, and try and explain what subtraction is. And once you've done that, try and do it as many times as you can in as many different ways as you can. How can you explain subtraction to someone? All right, so a few different methods that we have are, let's say you have an amount of items. So let's say we have maybe 3 hearts. And then 2 of those hearts break. All right, maybe someone got dumped by their partner or something like that. All right, so 2 hearts break, so we only have 1 heart left, right? And so essentially what happened here is that we started with 3 hearts and we took away 2 hearts, which left us with only 1. So in this way we can describe subtraction as being something that takes away. So taking away things. All right, so that's one method. Another one, just like with addition, is just kind of the pure abstract method where we don't need to visualize objects to know that subtraction just means we're combining these numbers in the specific way where we're removing part of this number. So we remove 2 from 3, what it remains is going to be 1. So this is just like addition, another way to combine numbers. And like I had before with the number line, so what we do for this case to represent 3 minus 2 is we start at 3, and we, instead of moving right with like we did with addition, subtraction moves to the left because that's the direction, the negative direction. And so we move 2 over and we're left with 1. So using a number line in this way, we can visualize that 3 minus 2, start at 3, go back 2, equals 1. So this method would be on a number line. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, just like last time, discuss what would happen if we applied subtraction to the number line. So go ahead, pause the video, and take a guess as to what you think that might look like. All right, so I have 2 number lines here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3, let's say, from this number line. All right, so to subtract 3, what I'm going to do is instead of moving to the right like with addition, I'm just going to move to the left. So we go 1, 2, 3 units over. And we see that we've shifted the number line to the left by 3 now. And if we look at different things that line up, what we're going to get is that we see here 3 lines up with 0, and that should make sense since 3 minus 3 equals 0. Let's pick another one. Let's go with 8. 8 lines up with 5. We know that 8 minus 3 is 5, so by shifting it over by 3 to the left, we've effectively subtracted 3 off of 8 and put it at 5. Let's choose one more, maybe in the negatives. Let's go negative 5. So negative 5 lines up with negative 8, since negative 5 minus 3 is indeed negative 8. So what we've done is we've slid the number line over to the left, and by doing that, we've effectively subtracted 3 from every single number. So now all we have to do is just pick a number, see where it lines up, and that's going to be that number minus 3. All right, perfect. So let's do an example of this. All right, so we have 5 minus 4, 4 minus 4, 2 minus 4, and negative 1 minus 4. So I'll prepare a couple number lines here. All right, so all of these different cases, we're subtracting 4 off, which means we'll be able to solve all of them by moving this number line 4 units to the left, because we're subtracting, not adding. So I will subtract 4 from this number line, which means I'm going to shift it over by 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, perfect. So now all we need to do is just identify the numbers. The fact that it's been moved over means we've effectively subtracted 4 from them, so where they line up with will be their answer. So the first one, we have 5 minus 4. 5 lines up with 1, so we get that 5 minus 4 equals 1. Perfect. All right, next up, 4. 4 is right next to 5 here. We've moved it over by 4 to the left, which means we subtracted 4. So that means 4 minus 4 equals 0, which we all know is true. All right, perfect. Next up, 2 minus 4. I identified the 2. It's been moved over by negative 4. So I look where it lines up with, and I get negative 2 as my answer. 2 minus 4 is indeed negative 2. And lastly, negative 1 minus 4. Well, identify negative 1. It lines up with negative 5, so that means negative 1 minus negative 4 has to equal negative 5. So by shifting the number line over, we've solved all of these in a single step. All right, so this one says, what would adding 4 and then subtracting 3 from the number line do? So I'll take two number lines. Line them up. And just ignore these scribbles. They were just from a previous one. Don't want to waste too much paper here, so. All right, so add 4 and then subtract 3. So add 4 means we're moving it to the right 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're subtracting 3. So we're going to go back 3 more units. 1, 2, 3. So ultimately, what happened to the number line? Well, if we compare, we see that 0 goes to 1, 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, and we can do some other ones, but ultimately the same thing happened to every number. So we see that all these numbers are going to 1 bigger than them. So ultimately, we added 1 to the number line. And another way we can think about this is that we've added 4 and then subtracted 3. But what's 4 minus 3? Well, that's the same thing as 1, right? So what we end up seeing here is that adding 4 and subtracting 3, since those things equal 1 when they're combined, we can actually combine the transformations ahead of time, and instead of moving over 4 and then back 3, we can just move it over 1 because that's ultimately the same outcome as we had before. And this was an idea we touched on in the previous video, which was question 5. So that's going to do it for today. The next video will be some practice regarding these, and I hope to see you there. If you haven't yet, what do you think multiplication and division would look like on a number line? I really encourage you to try that out. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. Have a good one, stay groovy, and I'll see you in the next video.